in the United States.
Over the past month and a half,
25 million adults and children suffering from labor and sex trafficking all over the world, including in the United States.
Over the past month and a half, you've followed our exclusive Fox News investigation into human trafficking. Tonight's final installment comes on the heels of the State Department's most recent Trafficking in Persons report, which finds that the United States remains among the countries of the world where trafficking is most common, especially for forced sex work. It also shows a renewed government investment into advocacy groups and nonprofit organizations that provide care for victims. Tonight, the stories of just a few who have dedicated their work to helping survivors beat the terrible cycle of human trafficking. Due to the graphic nature of this piece, viewer discretion is advised.
If you've seen what I've seen and seen the damage that is caused to those who have been subjected to the buying of sex, and you realize the broken homes, the broken lives, the broken bodies.
Corporal Alan Wilkett of the Pasco County Sheriff's Office in Florida has seen the horrors of human trafficking firsthand.
The International Labor Organization had the number of 20.9 million victims worldwide. Well, just recently they revised that to 40.3 million. As education increases, the reporting of it increases, so we're able to see larger numbers of reporting coming in.
In 2016, the Department of Justice prosecuted 241 human trafficking cases, more than 95% of which focused on sex trafficking. That's a marked increase from previous prosecutions.
The average victim that we work with that's over 18 started being raped at 3. If you are trafficked in the United States, 85% of the victims that are trafficked here are from here.
Entire ecosystems of nonprofit organizations, advocates, and law enforcement agencies exist to stop trafficking and help survivors.
Certainly working with a child victim is very different sometimes than working with adult victims.
Catherine Turman, who's in charge of the Victim Services Division of the FBI, knows firsthand the trauma that young victims of trafficking endure.
Our folks get a lot of training, a lot of extra training on working with kids. It's a big part of what they do.
Still, too many teens slip through the cracks.
He picked me up and I went on the road with him.
Using a pseudonym to protect her identity, C describes how a truck driver lured her into a life of forced sex work.
He was like, it would mean a lot to me if you made my friends happy. I want them to have fun with us. After it was over, he was so affectionate. It was so strange.
The United States is the #1 consumer of sex worldwide.
Jeff Rogers is the co-founder of the United States Institute Against Human Trafficking. His advocacy group helps many survivors get on the path to recovery.
We are driving the demand as a society, and we're also driving the demand with our own people, with our own kids.
Traffickers rely on the exploitation of trust to keep their victims in their control. Often the abused can see no way to get out of the lifestyles they've been forced into.
A lot of people think human trafficking, they think like the dramatized versions that you see on movies of people like getting literally kidnapped and like tied down in a basement. And that's just not the reality of the majority of cases are you're trafficked by somebody that you know and that you trust.
Even after they break the cycles of abuse and exploitation, the road to recovery runs long.
I think for some victims of sex trafficking, they have to get to a point where that devil they know is worse than any other devil that could be out there.
Many survivors who've freed themselves from the clutches of their traffickers have gone on to devote their lives to helping others who are in the position they once were. They know from experience that finding peace isn't easy after a life of being trafficked.
It takes a lifetime to heal from this. It's not a destination. It's a journey.
I think it was about 10 years before I finally started working on myself.
This is my childhood and that's what I have to live with. I'm better than I was a year ago, and I'm hoping this time next year I'll be even better and it'll continue to go. And then but I feel like I will always be healing.
The aftermath of your life, which is like a living hell. Then you can build to become a thriver, and then from thriver to champion.
It's because of the work of people like those you just heard that hope exists for survivors of human trafficking. Thanks to the investigative unit here at Fox News for helping to tell their stories and shine a light on this dark trade. If you're being trafficked or suspect that someone you know is, contact the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOST.